what we have done so far in terms of kriyas, this forms the preliminary exercises that a good aspirant would do every day. Now, if you have only 1 hour for Kundalini, for example, then my recommendation would be to reduce 1 minute each from each of these kriyas, so that way you will save 6 or 7 minutes. And the hands you put on your eyes can be reduced to 30 seconds as opposed to 1 minute. And that would give you another 3 minutes or so. That way you save 10 minutes. So you'll be done with all these kriyas in about 30 to 35 minutes that way. And then you can devote another 30 minutes to a specific chakra. If you are trying to energize one particular chakra, if you're going through the elaborate method of invoking energy, which means you're going one chakra at a time, or if you're going for the brief method, then spend the next 25 or 30 minutes on the 3 knots. If you have only 30 minutes to do it, because some of you are very busy and it's not easy to take time out every day. So in case you cannot take time out, I would say fine, do it only 30 minutes, cut down all the other activities by half. But please remember, it is not just a matter of ticking off. It's not that okay, I've breathed a few times, I've done my Kapalbhati, take, this done, my Vishuddhi Chakra is take, and now I've done, now I can just awaken my Kundalini. The more time you put in, the better you will get it, but provided you maintain the quality. It's like going to the gym. You can work out there and a circuit training thing in 20-25 minutes, very intense, or you can sit there for an hour and a half listening to your iPhone or iPod and in between checking messages and just roaming around there, got on one machine, sat there, exercised less than you breathed there. So to say, you would say I was in the gym for an hour and a half, but that's of little to no use. You alone know how sincerely you are practicing. You are doing it for yourself. If you are doing it seriously and sincerely, the results will come through. So Kundalini awakening is one of those rare practices or the systems of meditation which contributes directly to your physical as well as your mental well-being. If you walk the path of just Gayatri Sadhana or Mantra Sadhana, for example, I cannot tell you that you will be physically fit. If you just did the meditation or the Zen meditation, I cannot tell you that you will be physically fit. But with Kundalini, the Kriya for Kapalbhati, the root chakra, and this Jalandhar Bandha and Shambhavi Kriya, they contribute directly to your physical well-being as well. Having said that, my recommendation still is that please exercise at least 3 to 5 times every single week. If you aren't sweating, you are not exercising. And I'm not saying you have to run like a rabbit in front of a carrot or behind a carrot. So you just have to burn enough calories to be able to know that I've exercised. If you are not exercising, by the time you are 50, diseases will come into your body. Whether it could be diabetes, it could be diabetes or hypertension or some of the other fascinating ones, something will happen. Sometimes some of you who look up to me and love me so much, when you come and tell me about your physical problem, I feel quite sad, because I cannot help you there. And it is something I've said repeatedly. There is no mantra, no sadhu, no kriya, no God, no temple that can help you there. When you go and try to get a loan from a bank, usually they will be willing to give you a loan when you don't need it. So if you can give a collateral which is of greater value, you will get the loan. Otherwise, You don't get any loan. Similarly, healing cannot be done if your head is hurting or if you're gaining weight, if your tummy is hurting, and so on. Healing is only done in the extreme, rarest of the rare cases if somebody is suffering from, let's say, cancer. I'm not saying we can heal that person, but we can try. Because they've contracted this not mostly because of their lifestyle decisions, but perhaps something else is going wrong in their body. But if somebody is gaining weight and because of that their knees are hurting or their back is hurting, if somebody is sensitive, his or her heart is hurting, I cannot do a thing. And you cannot do a thing at that time. When a disease has hit your body, it is actually already a little too late. You need to take immediate and massive action towards it. So, if you have only 1 hour all up, I would say give 30 minutes to the practice of Kundalini and give 30 minutes to physical exercise. You will benefit even more. Take my word on this. Believe me, exercise, exercise, exercise. You will get the rewards. Watch what you eat and watch how much you eat. Watch your weight and watch your actions, Sweat out there, whatever method you choose. Otherwise, be prepared to fall ill. With every meal, in addition to the desserts, which will be severely restricted by the doctor at that time, you will have a little bowl of pills. They won't taste very nice. This is for thinning my blood. This is for my blood pressure, this is for my heart rate, this is for this and this is for that. Be prepared for that. So don't come and tell me that I am ill if you haven't been doing exercises. Come and tell me I'm well if you haven't been doing exercises, because I want to know the secret and share it with others. Because who wouldn't want to be lazy? Tell me. Who wants to really get out there and sweat? There is this extreme joy in just lazing around, procrastinating, and not doing a thing, but it won't take you too far. So remember, if your body is strong and fit, you will be more effective in doing your sadhana. You will be better at it, and it's simple as that. Now we have to move to the next chakra, called the Agya Chakra. Some also call it the third eye chakra, some call it the brow chakra. Now, Agya, the word Agya means an order. Agya also means and Gya. Gya means wisdom, knowledge. If you know Sangeet, you're a Sangeetagya, for example. If you know Vedas, you're a Vedagya, for example. So when you are at this chakra, Agya, it's the absence of all bookish knowledge. It's no longer about knowing or knowledge, it is about becoming and being that knowledge. And that's why the name Agya. Yada te mohkalilam buddhir vatittarashyati tadagantasi nirvedam shrutvasya shrutasya cha. Shruti vipratipanna. Krishna says, Kante, all the books you have read, that is the primary source of your conditioning. Now, when you get to a state of samadhi, achal samadhi says, at that time, you will get past all the bookish knowledge. And one of the greatest reasons of misconception is when teachers or gurus pass on bookish knowledge without experimenting, without validating, without verifying if such knowledge holds true in this day and age. So this is called Agya Chakra, that it's the absence of bookish knowledge here. No second-hand information, no second-hand knowledge. It is the awakening of insight. Insight, the word insight means in. You have turned inward. You are seeing what's in you. And from there arises a special kind of wisdom called the insight. So going back to Lalita Sahasranama, it says, Agya Chakra Abjanilya Shukla Varna Shadanana Majja Sanstha Hansavati Mukhya Shakti Samanvita. Haridra Nakarasika Hakini Rupadharini. So here the name of the Devi is Hakini. And therefore the seed syllable, the beach mantra of this chakra is Hang. So her and a dot on top. And it says Majja Sanstha Hansavati. The Devi is situated in marrow, bone marrow. Diseases of the bone marrow can be taken care of by meditating on Agya Chakra. I'm not saying if somebody already has contracted some kind of disease in their bone marrow or marrow, it can be cured, but I am suggesting that if you meditate on it, your chances of contracting such disease diminish greatly. There is scriptures basically talk about this mantra called Hansa Gayatri, that eternally, as long as we live in human body, we are constantly chanting this mantra of Hansa Soham, Hansa Soham, Hansa Soham, Hansa Soham. This is the mantra of the soul. The moment we stop chanting this mantra, we are declared dead. Basically, this is the mantra of the breath. And most interestingly here, Devi here has 6 faces. Kundalini energy has 6 faces here. From 5 faces of the root chakra, 5 aspects of action and perception, to 4 kinds of pursuit in the sacral chakra, dharma, artha, kam, moksha, to 3 modes of material nature and 3 humors in human body. 3 modes being sattva, rajas, tamas, that is goodness, passion, ignorance. And 3 humors, vata, pitta, kapha, or wind, bile, and air, phlegm. Then the Devi has 2 faces in your heart chakra, representing the duality, to 1 in your throat chakra, representing oneness. But very strange that here now in Agya Chakra, she has 6 faces. Ideally, there should be no form here, because here the color is Shukla Varna Shadanana. Shukla means white, means bright. And it's not by mistake. It's remarkable. The insight here is just mind-blowing. When you are at your heart chakra, you learn to absorb everything. You are black. Then you go through a stage of oneness. And now you learn to reflect everything. That is white. White is only white when it doesn't absorb any color, when it doesn't keep anything to itself. You're not giving it back, but you've learned that even better than absorbing is not absorbing anything. Even better than keeping it to yourself or within yourself is to not keep anything to yourself. Somebody offers you good words, thank you, out of your system. Somebody offers you bad words, thank you, out of your system. Because I can almost guarantee you, the one who's saying good things about you today, one day will disagree with you and say bad things about you. It is remarkable how easy it is to switch from one side to the other. How quickly our emotions just ebb and flow. People who are saying good things about you, they are not necessarily your friends. People who are saying bad things about you are not necessarily your enemies. So for your own peace of mind, it's better to not just react. If they're saying good things, that's their perception. If they're saying not so good things, that is also their perception. And here, she has 6 faces. It's remarkable. This subtlety has been captured on the path of sadhana in Lalita Sahasranama. I was so amazed and so ecstatic when I found this. Because what happens is this. As you progress on the spiritual path, you learn a sense of detachment. You naturally become a bit detached from the world. Your consciousness, your lifestyle, your thinking, your thought process, everything undergoes a profound transformation. And as you progress, you may also get some siddhis, some powers here and there to help yourself, to help others, and so on. And as you go even further, you progress even more, you evolve, you experience your higher states of consciousness, you experience that oneness. And then, by the time you are at your throat chakra, you truly realize how powerful you are. And as Kabir says, Maya taji to kya taja, मान तजा ना जाए, मान बड़े ऋषिवर गले, मान सबहु को खाए. That it's no big deal to renounce your wealth. It's no big deal to do tyaga, to renounce anything, any physical object, any material object. But your renunciation, he says, is incomplete. What is really hard to renounce is ego, that I am special. And it becomes even more prominent and strong in gurus. It becomes even more damning in people who are spiritually growing because they see how powerful they are. They see that how much difference they can make to other people's lives, and it can very quickly get to your head. And here the 6 faces represent Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar. Or Ahankar, it's a combination of all these. That is, Kam, lust, Krodh, anger, Lobh, greed, Moh, attachment, Mad, a sense of pride, and Matsar is that form of pride, but that I'm special. Or having that feeling of envy or jealousy, it's a combination of that. And all these combined boost your ego. So on the spiritual journey, first is, it's like a staircase. You rise a bit, there's a plateau. You rise a bit, there's a plateau. You rise a bit, there's a plateau. Each time you cross that point of saturation, you come across a new vista. You come across a new scenery. You come across a new kind of power. But then you experience great detachment. You say the whole world is crap. This whole material world has nothing to do with me. I have nothing to do with it. I'm going to walk away. That my material life is not good. I don't have to do all these things. But as you rise higher and higher and higher and higher, when you really truly are above it, when you realize your immense power, then once again, you feel great attachment to the material world. And that is a moment of great fall, not Humpty Dumpty's. If you have a fall at that time, Kundalini is really going down to the root chakra. Because when you reach at that stage and then you fall, nobody can help you. Primarily because you already think you are better than everybody else and that nobody else can offer you anything new or different or any piece of advice. So in not keeping anything with you, the color is white here. Sometimes you start to give things back, not out of detachment, but out of anger, or out of attachment, or out of greed, or out of ego, or out of envy, and so on. So your reflection, this not keeping anything to yourself, is no longer out of a spiritual evolution or spiritual state of being, but more so, I don't need you. And this is catastrophic. This is catastrophic because this will lead to a great fall. Not necessarily fall from grace, but just a great fall. as I was telling you yesterday, that until you hit this Manipura chakra, the navel chakra, your transformation is reversible. It is temporary. You can slip back. But the moment you rise above to the higher chakras, this transformation is then irreversible. So if you get caught up in demonstration of your power or fooling people or telling lies, and you are still at Manipura chakra, then you will go back to square one. If you have brought the Kundalini, if you have awakened it and you've raised it to your Agya Chakra and then fallen for these things again, then it is going to go down to your Manipura Chakra, your navel plexus. Which means you will get caught up in the three modes of material nature, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And once again, all the health and well-being you had accumulated will start to flee. It will start to disappear from your body because the three humors once again will be imbalanced in your body. But you're still not as bad as the person who has not gained any transformation. But in some sense, you are even worse. Because now you may be abusing your power. And that's why it's the greatest point to watch out for. When you've diligently practiced the awakening of Kundalini, and when you've raised it to a certain level, and then if you see your old tendencies are coming back, at that time, take a break, reflect deeply, and think through where you want to go on this journey. It's very important to do that analysis and take that break for self-reflection. Otherwise, nobody can save you. Now, the Kriya for Agya Chakra is what you've already done. It's Shambhavi Mudra. But everybody has a different receptivity at their Agya Chakra. Some people are able to receive energy better than others. And it's, I think, something I've said earlier as well. As you know, I don't shake hands with people. No matter which part of the world I travel to, I just always say, I'm very sorry, but I don't shake hands. It's because hands that pray to Divine Mother and hands that people look up to for blessings should only be used for something like that. And when I bow before you, when I say I offer you my obeisance, I truly, truly mean it. So sometimes, usually, if I meet 100 people, I might do it to three or four people. I will bless them and I will put my hand on their head. And almost always, if they have clinical depression, I feel nothing back. It is so remarkable. I feel nothing back. But if they have depression, for example, but it's not clinical, which means nothing is really wrong in their brain, I feel a flow of energy going from my hand into their head. Sometimes it's so warm that it's almost, I feel and they feel like it's burning. And sometimes I don't feel a thing. And the next person will come along and it's brimming with energy. So how receptive you are to energy, there is a simple test. We'll do that test, and then there is no real kriya, but there is a small thing you can do to use the healing power you have in your hands to do the same thing. When I talk about feeling people's energy by placing my hand on their head, you can do the same. Just practice this Kundalini thing, and the same things will come to you. Your receptivity for energy will naturally evolve and grow. So for this particular exercise, we have to make pairs. So please turn to each other. And if you find nobody, then don't worry, you're not missing out on much. So if this is the head of the other person, then you are going to take your index finger, Stretch it. And your thumb joining these three fingers. So this is going to be the mudra. And you're going to bring your finger, so one by one, first one person will do, then the other person will do. You're going to bring it close, but you're not going to touch. So I will just demonstrate where you can see. So you're not going to touch, but you're going to bring it close enough. So close, but not touching. Okay? You will do it right at their Agya Chakra. So the person doing it, please breathe deeply and gently. Feel the flow of energy, and then make sure you don't touch their forehead, because if you touch, they will be distracted with your touch. And if you keep it too far, they won't feel a thing. So bring it close enough. You know how in as children you might have seen those magnets, and we would bring the magnet. If the magnet is small, it has to be brought closer. If the magnet is big, it can push the little one from a distance as well. So let's do it. Yes. If you're left-handed, feel free to use your left hand. So keep breathing, the other person. So if you can, the person receiving it can keep their eyes open or closed. The other person has to keep their eyes open. Please bring your finger closer to the other person. Vishal, you're too far off. Closer, 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 closer. Yeah. Now point your index finger. Seema, point your index finger, not like that. Yes. And you can use the other hand to stabilize your arm if you like. And the person receiving, you can close your eyes. And keep breathing. Ten seconds more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch. Make sure you're only a few millimeters away from the forehead so they can feel your energy. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Thank you for this great silence. Lovely. Perfect. So unlike any other audience I've ever had. So who received or who felt some energy? Almost everybody. So those of you who didn't, please feel free to leave. Okay. Now, two things happen. When somebody brings their index finger so close to your forehead, two things happen. First, remember I was telling you this is the most receptive chakra. This is the easiest chakra to energize and activate. Maybe because activation of this chakra represents wisdom, insight, foresight, planning. And our mind is always engaged in planning or deducing information or wisdom from what we gain. So this chakra is always in use one way or the other. And that's why maybe it's more receptive. So two things happen when somebody brings their index finger closer to your forehead, this particular chakra. One is their energy starts to flow through to you. The energy starts to flow and you feel it. The energy in this finger, it's actually the least powerful finger, by the way, but it's most concentrated. There are other ways of shifting or transferring energy. Second thing that happens is you have a natural field of energy. In some people, it is only, let's say, a millimeter thick. I don't want to use the word aura, but momentarily, to just help you understand or help me explain you better, think of an aura, a shield of energy. In some people's cases, it's just this thick, a few millimeters. But the more pure you are, the more truthful you are in life, the more awakened you are, the thicker this sphere of energy around you. Eventually, it could span many, many feet. So what happens is when anybody comes in your energy field, it causes a slight disruption or maybe even interruption in that flow of energy, which you feel. But because it's like breathing, when we are normally breathing, we don't feel a thing. It's so subconscious that it's almost an unconscious act. It's just happening. Even if you're unconscious, you don't forget to breathe. Body takes over or something else takes over and you continue to breathe. Same thing happens with energy. We're constantly receiving and processing energy, but the moment you are not able to receive it, something in you tells you something is happening. What is it? Like breathing. If you're asthmatic and you feel short of breath, you instantly realize, oh, I'm not breathing as well as I normally do. So these two things happen. There is one way to make your chakra, this Agya Chakra, more receptive, if I may use the term, or to a softer way of energizing it, because you may not already have somebody next to you to invigorate this area. And that is, remember I was talking about the middle of the palm? It's one of the most potent areas for transferring energy. So the middle of your palm should go right where your Agya Chakra is, but because of the position of nose, it might be a little up where your forehead is. So if you do this and you keep it a few millimeters away, once again, not touching it, but feel it. I already feel so much. So please do it and see if you feel anything. This is your own energy. Keep breathing gently, keep your head straight. Make sure hand is close enough but not touching, not too far. Now we are going to build this energy a little bit. This area is carpeted, so you may not feel it as much, but put your other hand on the ground, touch it, touch the ground with the other hand, right in front of you or however you feel comfortable. Without altering your posture too much, however you feel comfortable, touch. And keep your hand there. You can touch the mattress you're sitting on, it's okay. So bring your palm closer to your forehead, make sure it's close, and breathe deeply. Some of you are keeping your palms too far from your forehead. That won't work. Bring it close. Now mentally on your Agya Chakra, the third level of energy build-up, chant the Kundalini Mantra. Mentally, in your mind, on your Agya Chakra. And keep breathing. This is incredibly healing energy. This connects your consciousness to many, many, many lifetimes you've been through. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can lower your hands. So once again, please remember, this has to be very close. Not touching, but close. The closer it is, the more warmth and energy you will feel. Did you feel a softer energy this time? Okay, maybe. So 50 or 60% of the people. The rest of you, no refunds again. So, but the more energy you build up with the awakening of Kundalini, the more you will be able to feel on your own. And when you're touching the ground, if you're somebody who does it sitting in a chair, then just put your feet on the ground. Because Mother Earth is a giant storehouse of energy. We are constantly receiving energy from Earth. Now, most of us live in high-rise buildings or never get to walk barefoot, but it's a very good way of receiving energy. So if you're sitting in a chair, just put your feet on the ground without socks. If you're on the ground, then you don't have to go here and there. You just touch it gently, just your tips of fingers can touch, and then you do. So just sit. Your posture ideally should be maintained. Because remember, it's the subtlest aspect of energy. This is not something you have to do every day. It's something maybe you can do while you are in a meeting with your boss. And you can just sit like this. Just tell her I'm being calm. But all the other activities are integral part of your daily practice.